G'day, how you going? I'm Ian Harris from Australia. Welcome to my video. I'm going to work on a black canvas today. It's just because it's a black one, no reason, but I'll give it a go. And I'm going to do a Perth landmark. Well, it's a small blue boat shed we have on the Swan River here in Perth. And I'll just put the sides of the canvas up there first before we get going, because people like to know what it is in centimetres and inches. And we'll also get some colours running up the screen there as well. All right. And I'm going to do this in acrylic because, as you know, I only paint in acrylics, and I'll get you over here and show you what we're going to do on the palette and on the canvas, and I'll also show you the reference picture as well. Okay, that's the picture of it. I digitally drew that on my iPad. You can use this as a traceable for this if you want a traceable. And also, that is the actual photo that I did the digital picture from. And depending on the water level in low tide and high tide, as you can see underneath it, the water comes close up to the bottom of the walls and sometimes sinks down in low and high tide. Now, like I said, I'm just going to use a black canvas today, and I've got the horizon line in the middle because this boat shed needs to be, this is the king of the picture, and if we have it too low, and if some people get the jetty going up to it in the wrong perspective, it's going to look a bit weird. So we need the horizon line for this one, dead in the middle, and we're going to put a bit of I'm going to do it as a nighttime flavour and sort of with a beautiful moon in the sky, okay? I want to get some retarder because I want the sky to have a bit of a blend with it. Now I've got my craft paint here. I've run out of it in the tube, but it also comes in a tub like this. Okay, fine art. It's just a, look at it. I call it flowing white, but that's the consistency of it. Let me get you down so you can see that. I usually have it in a tube. That's the consistency of it, okay? I call it flow white. It usually comes in a tube. It also comes in a tub. The actual brand is Global. But anyway, I'll get enough of that out of there. Oh, I don't want too much. I just want to do the sky. And I want a bit of retarder in there, okay? Just so as I can get some beautiful colours for the sky going. The more retarder, the more it's going to blend, and also it can also come more opaque on the opaque side, so that's why I'm not putting too much in here. And I'll get the sky half laden on with this craft paint mixed with the retarder. And we'll get this on there. Don't worry about this too much covering, because this is just prepping the canvas for your sky. If you want a sky to blend. If you don't want a sky to blend, you just want a basic colour, just paint the colour on there, okay? But I always do this because it's how I do my skies. I'll get rid of any hard edge down there. Okay, I'm going to use Phthalo Blue for my sky colour. Now this boat shed sits on the Swan River, just below Kings Park in the city of Perth. And it was built around the 1930s. And over the years it's been revamped and painted blue to the colour it is today. And it's a very popular tourist attraction for the people to come and get a photo taken on the jetty leading up towards its front door. Okay, now I'm getting this Phthalo Blue onto me brush. And like I said, I want a nighttime flavour, so I want this reasonably solidly blue, darker blue, not like a daytime sky. So, see that colour there? That's pretty much the one I want. I want to add a beautiful flavour to this, make it my own painting. Okay. There's a lot of local artists that have painted this house, and like I said, it's one of the most photographed buildings in Perth. You can go past there any time of the day and it has a lot of people lined up. I reckon that's all right for me colour. Okay, see, I've just massaged that in. It doesn't need nothing more now. Beautiful. I'm very happy with that. Now I've got some titanium white out of the tube and I'm using my fan brush. This is the brush I want to use to put some clouds down on the horizon there. They're not high up in the sky because, like I said, I want a type of evening sky, something that can have the moon sitting high up there. So I will, which way am I going to start from? That way. Okay, yeah, so I know the house is going to be roughly that wide taking up the shot, okay? Boom, boom, but the clouds are only going to be, so I'll get something there. There is on the skyline of this shot, there is a landmass out there, but it's up to you as the artist to put that in or not. Now I've got my blending brush and I want to blend the bottom of that down into the atmosphere. Okay, leaving the top. Tickle the tops a bit, just soften it a little bit. I've got something to wipe my blending brush constantly so it's not just moving the paint around. I don't want to move the paint around, I want to be able to blend it, wipe it and blend it. I always like to bring my clouds right off the painting, not bring them down. And get that down into the atmosphere now. I'm not going to go putting grey in this because of the time of the day I'm trying to make it. So there's one on one side and we'll do something on the other. I just want to show you how I wash my brush. I have water in these tubs here. This one's got like a wire grid down the bottom and this is another one for rinsing and cleaning as well. So let's say you've got your brush, just a basic way. You can wipe the build-up off first, okay? And then I scrape the brush on the bottom of that wire in this tub, okay? And then this one has a rib down the bottom of it, this section of this side of the container. The water's staying more cleaner now. And then rinse it in there. That brush, I squeeze it between a towel or a paper towel. Just squeeze it together, you don't have to rub it. And that is perfect, ready to go again. That's how I clean my brushes, but I'm doing it in a quicker way. Okay, so we'll get, I know where my horizon line is. I'm creating the top, moving this around in a kind of manner, coming where I know the house is going to hide the rest, which is about there. Okay. And the same again, paper towel, blending brush in hand. And we want to blend the bottom down into the horizon there. Wipe your build up. Tickle the tops just to soften them a little bit. Okay. If you think you've taken too much white off, you can add more on there. You know how I normally add my yumminess? If you want to add the yumminess, go for it. Put that back in there, because sometimes when you're blending, you might over blend and think, I've ruined it. But this is just a way you can add your yumminess back, or the white. See, I'm just sort of here and there, not hard. All right. Okay, I don't want to I'm getting tempted to put another cloud here and maybe something there, but I don't want to over cloud the sky because our house is boathouse will be right here, and that's the main star of this painting. And to here, I want to have a moon, all right? So try not to get caught up putting too many clouds in your sky on this one. And once I put the water in, I might just put a silhouette of the land mass in the distance because I know it's there, but people in another country might not be familiar with that, but that's why I will put that in over here. Okay, we'll just get the hairdryer on this and give it a dry so as I can put the moon on. Okay, now a simple moon. I'm going to use my pouncer, or you can use a paper cutout like you've seen me done in earlier videos if you've followed my work before. And if you don't know where to buy these pouncer, these round sponge stipplers from, you find them in most craft shops or $2 shops, things like that, or Office Works, where they sell all the art stuff. Now, for the simple moon, I'm just going to get a simple primer base on there. Don't wet your sponge too much. See there, it can get all bubbly. And so what we want to do is pretty much, for a simple moon, I'm going to show you. Work out where you want it. My house is going to be here, so I want it way up here. Now this is just the base coat, all right, for the prime. I mean, there we go. It's just a white. Now I'm going to blow dry that. Okay, that's dry. It's not 100% but dry, but it's dry enough to take on the grey. Because down here I've got the grey out of the tube. It's just a mid-tone grey, or mix yourself up some grey just out of some black and white. Now I've put the white on so this grey will stand out. Otherwise this won't stand out as lovely as I would want it to. So let's just get this onto our moon. This is a very simple moon. So now we're going to put the grey on. Twist it so it's going to come off the pouncer, squash it, twist it. Practice using these pouncers. There we go, we've got our grey on there. Now I'm going to dry that and add the white. If I just put that on there now, it won't stand out. The white is what's bringing it to that grey colour. Now before you dry it, if you want, I've just got my finger stirred up some of that grey in there, making some different values to get some crater-like effects in there. If you want, it's just moving the paint around. Now I'm going to dry that and add the white. So I've dried the moon on the canvas. Now I'm picking up the white. There's no water, there's no nothing in here. And I just want half the moon white. So I'm ladling on this paint the way I want it onto my pouncer. This is good titanium white out of the tube. It's a lot thicker than that craft paint. It's got more body to it. Okay, and this is pretty much going to be the highlight to me moon. You don't want it highlighted all the way around the circle and giving it a white ring. We just want it gradiently fading into the grey. Okay, I'm going to go like that. So I'm virtually mapping it on here where I want it to go on my canvas. This is a very simple, easy way to do a moon. And I want the, let's say, here. So I'm going to put that on the moon, get it to the edge there. Now this is where my white is, so I'm pushing that down, give it a little bit of a twist, just a little bit. And let's have a look at that. That's it. Beautiful, simple moon. Now don't muck with it with the sponge, because if you start going all hairy out the edge, you'll go, oh damn, I've buggered it up, it didn't work like his. Now I'm grabbing my finger, like I did with the grey, and if you want, do this. See what I'm doing? I'm just manipulating the white the way I want it to look. There. You can probably get a darker grey if you want and put some darker craters in here, but that's pretty much it. Okay, simple moon. All right, everything's clean, ready for the next section. Later on in this video, I'll have my featured guest, Beverly Sowers from West Virginia in the USA. She'll be telling me when it's time to whack a frame on this beauty, all right? So stick around for that. And give me the thumbs up, share it and subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, just hit the subscription button and click the bell. That way you'll be notified when I put new material up, okay? So now I want to pretty much work out and get the water in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is paint it to the height where I want it and then bring it down, just so you know what I'm doing. And it will pay, if you're a beginner, just watch the video throughout. That way you know what's going to happen. So when you're following along, you'll have a more better understanding of what you're up against each time we come to a new section, all right? And remember, take your time and have fun. So to get this water on, I've put some more of that craft paint there. I just want the littlest bit of retarder with that, not too much. And I want to prime the bottom half with this so I can get the watercolours on. And we're going to use Phthalo Blue, and I've got turquoise straight out of a tube. Now I've put some low tacking tape on here, masking tape that doesn't have a strong stickiness to it. It's just so as I can get my horizon line done quicker and without any crookedness in there. Now we're just going to get the bottom half loaded up with this primed white craft paint with a touch of retarder in there. Now why I'm using this black canvas, it's a reclaimed canvas. It had a painting demo on it that I've just painted over in black gesso so I can make use of the canvas again. But this painting will be kept and it will be available for sale. Check out the links in the description below. You can check what paintings I have available for sale, and you can purchase them through Facebook Messenger. Now, I want to start with the lightest colour, so I'm going to grab some of my turquoise, pulling out here, because I want three flavours. I want a light colour of this, that colour, and then that colour. And I'm going to start at the horizon line. Because this is a river, it's night time, it's the flavour I want it to be, I'm going to have this out the horizon line and then come forward with the darker colours. So we'll see how this is going to work. So I want this just across the horizon line, get it right against there. I'm just worrying about this bit here. Okay, done. I'll just bleed that down into nothing. There we go. Now I've got to clean this brush and pick up just the turquoise. And I want it about here. That's where I want it to bleed into. I'll bring that down. And now I want to merge that into that softer turquoise. Just bring my brush to the edge. See, I've used this brush pretty much throughout the whole painting, except for the fan brush and my blending brush. Now I want some more darker turquoise there. See, I'm kind of losing it a bit, so get some, there we go. Could probably bring that closer to the horizon line, that darker bit. Way up about here somewhere. There we go. Keep the bands there if you like them. Look at that, I like them. I'm going to leave them there, I love them. Love them. Now we'll use the Phthalo Blue. I've cleaned that same 2-inch synthetic brush. It's got plastic fibres on it, synthetic hairs. And now we'll get the bottom done. And if this ain't going to be as dark as you want, we can add a bit of dioxazine to this. But see, I'm putting it down there. I've got the brush on its edge, because on its side, because it can push the paint on more direct. That's good. I'm loving that. And now I'm going to pick up just a bit more and see if we can get some bands in there as well. Now let's do that until we're happy with it. I would like the bottom a little bit darker. So like I said, we'll try a bit of dioxazine purple. And if you don't like this dioxazine purple flavour, just stick with your Phthalo Blue. Just down the very edge here. That's it, and maybe a band, something like that. Let it wear off the brush. I'll wear it off the brush here on my board. And now let's get this pushed through there. Loving it, loving it. I love those bands. I'm going to leave them there. All right. Then we can carefully pull our tape off here. And we can dry that water, give it a dry, because we're going to put that house over the top and we don't want it to mud up. Okay, that's dry. It's not 100% dry, but it's dry enough. And I want to add 2 more flavours before we put the house and its jetty in. I want to put some mist around the moon. I'll show you how I do that, very simple. And I want to just put in this horizon line landmass at the edge there. So starting with the horizon line landmass, I've just got simple black here. Going with the colours we've got nice artistic colours. We're not going for realistic. So I've got this on a flat brush, a 1/2 inch flat brush. And I want to grab my bullshit stick, because this is going to add that element of depth behind the house if you put this in. So I could still see the lines where I marked where I'm going to roughly have my house. And now I want to use this stick and get just a little bit past there and get the bottom nice and straight, just like this. I'll put a little bit of water in that paint. Okay, and then if anything, we're just going to chippity chop, use this brush or get a totally different one. But this ain't huge out here. It's just noticeable. We'll come thinner from the inside and a bit higher on the edge, just to give it the painting that bit of. So I'm going to do the same on the other side, but I'll do that off camera. But I'm just showing you here roughly what we got. Okay. And if you ever come to Perth, look up this house. It's not far from the actual city centre. All right. Because the moon is out, I will highlight the top of that just with some pure white. So I'm going to come along and dance just along here, just so the moonlight's hitting the top of all that landmass out there, and do the same on this side. And now I want to go to the part a lot of you probably know how to do mist. I'm going to show you how to do it in acrylic. Okay, so there we go. All right, for our mist. Now this once was a flat brush, but it's been used for scrumbling a lot, and it's become like a broad-faced, broad-tipped little blending brush. Okay, and this works great for me. Now it's not soft like a makeup brush. It's got some stability in it, and I'll show you why you need that, okay? Now we've just got good titanium white out of the tube. Get that on your brush. Okay, get it right in there. And I'll show you on here first. You want to wear some of the paint off because you don't want blobs and a big white mass there. You want mist. So what we're doing is we're getting a lot of it off the edges too, because sometimes you can get little dots on the edge and that'll spoil your look. And then we're going to just lightly, very gingerly, we'll put some kind of, it's just highlighting some soft clouds around there. So I'm going to do it in a way that I'll imagine that there's some clouds here, okay? And it doesn't matter if they sit behind. How's that looking? See what that's doing? And I could dribble it in front over the moon a bit if I want. Now I've got no more on the brush. I'm still using what's on it. You could do this as just glare coming off the moon. But we've got some type of clouds there. They're not visible, but because the moon is so bright, it's highlighting these soft, small clouds around it, okay? Just like that. And that's how you do fog or mist or smoke. You're barely touching it. And how's that looking? That'll do. And while I've still got this brush from the moon, I might put some of a hint in here. So I'm going to just get my line there roughly. Pick up some more of that titanium white. And I can fix that black back up. There's my line there, right? I want to just get some type of moon light hitting the water. Pull it down. See, I don't want these big blobs. They look stupid. So I've got to try and blend them in. So what I'll do is I'll do this. And now I'll come and I'm just kind of zigzagging across, you know. There we go. Let's get some more out there. Let me look in the monitor. That'll do it. That will do it. Now the boathouse is pretty much a rectangle. Okay, it's just a rectangle, and then decent sized pitched gabled roof on it. It has a finicle up here and a flagpole. It has a light there, 2 distinct windows, and it has the number and the plaque next to it, okay? That's what is there. You can search this on the internet under Google Images, search up Perth boathouse, and you'll get thousands of this image, different photographs that people have taken. And we want to put it so when this jetty is drawn on, it'll come to a point, and the point of this jetty will be hitting the horizon line. If that point's going to be too low or too high, it's going to put it out of perspective, okay? So you just have to work out, imagine this has its point on there, and have that point touching your horizon line. Now I'm going to do mine freehand, and I'm looking at the picture, and the jetty is about this far from the two edges. And then what I'm going to do is roughly the center of that, boom, which is here. This is what I mean for perspective. Get that line drawn in there and over here. Okay, and that jetty has its perspective. Don't know if you can see that line. Now I'm going to want to draw the boathouse. So the boathouse can be anywhere. I want it about here, let's say. It's about, you want some length in the jetty. So there's my edge, remember. I've put those marks there. So I'll do that. And a decent rectangle, like I said. So we'll give it a decent rectangle shape. And that line, or that dot that we had in the centre here, that can go up for our gabled roof. So work out the pitch you want. It has a little bit of an overhang on here, not too much, but you need something distinctive enough to replicate the overhang, okay? Where's my edge line? There it is. And then we just simply put the door is pretty much just a tidbit less than the width of the jetty, okay? And you want it a bit higher than your horizon line, just so it's going to suit the painting. And this can be roughed in. And the windows are just 2 rectangles, but they're not in line with that. They're a tidbit higher as well, and they're pretty much centre. Now we'll get the colours to paint it all in. I've got raw sienna dark, and I've got burnt umber, and over there I've got some more blue for the colour of the house, and we're going to need white as well. So this is the jetty colour. I could see me line there, so I'm using this flathead brush. Nice, look at this tight line I can get there. Bang, and then the same on the other side. We're just going to virtually block this in with this raw sienna dark, and then we can dry it and add the shadow elements to this, and this will be the jetty. Now this jetty is quite long, but in this photo shot you can only see this much of it. A lot of people go here for their wedding photos, their anniversary photos, just tourism go there, and there is always a lineup. The guy that actually owns it was on TV not long ago, and he actually, when he's got to go in there to do anything, he's virtually got to wait in line as well. If there's 5 people or 10 people in front of him, he waits in line until they've done their photos, then he'll walk through and go get his, opened the door. There's a little door there with a key lock in it. He'll go in there and do what he's got to do, but yeah. And I want to dry this, because if I try adding the darker elements on, it's going to scrape and mud up. Now I'm using the same brush, and I'm picking up the burnt umber just to give that jetty some shadow and dark elements. So I want to come pretty much from there to here, and then eyeball that into a straight line. Getting a little bit narrow as you get to the edge there. Don't have too much on your brush. See how I'm getting these blobs here. And if anything, I just want to I'll get that tight against there first. Now if you have a way you want to paint your jetty, by all means do it your way. And I just want to drag some of that and let it fade. And each brush stroke or overlapping brush stroke will probably create the planks, because the planks on this jetty are horizontal. Okay, just been mucking around putting some more shade. Now just along here, I'm just going to put a darker, I've added some black with that brown, just about here, because on each side of this jetty there's like a higher board just edging it off, and that's higher, so obviously it's casting a shadow here darker, so I just want to put that there, just about there, and bring it in as you go up to there. That's it. And then just to finish this jetty off, I just want to put some highlights on the high areas because we got the moon out. To get the lighter highlight, I'm just going to use the lighter colour, raw sienna dark, and add some white with it. I've dried everything, so I just want a shimmer of light coming across here, leaving some darks there, just coming across the timber. Maybe a bit on here. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've just put the hint of a shadow here as well, so as the moon will be casting a shadow over the jetty, I can see a slight hint of it in the reference picture, so I'm going to incorporate it into my painting here. Putting some highlights on this side of the boards. That'll do for me, jetty. I can keep mucking with that till the cows come home, but that'll do me. Now, I want to prime in the outline of the actual house, but before I do, I want to put a little bit of shadow there, okay? So I can put the house over the shadow. So I'm going to get the darkest colour here, which was this one here, and maybe a bit of, is that dioxine or the blue? Oh, that's the blue I'm going to use for the house, but I want a bit of this on a flathead brush underneath. So where are we? We're about there. Come along to the jetty. Don't go over the jetty. Now I'm going to have it as high tide, that way I don't have to do too much detail underneath this house with the pylons and stuff, okay? So that's pretty much. The bigger you make this, I'm going to wipe that off a bit, it's a bit wet. The thicker you make this shadow here is the higher you make the house off the water, and I will be drying this so it won't spoil the white undercoat I've got to put on for the house. Now the house is going to be blue, but I want to prime it all in first with some titanium white, because see, that's just blue straight onto from the tube onto there, and you can kind of see through it. It's got no guts, it's got no oomph, so we want to make that look a lot more solid for our house. So I'm going to use titanium white, damp your brush a bit just so as this is just going to act as a primer. And the best way to do this is find all your spots. So like I'll get this point there, I'm going to be there down to here, and that's pretty much, there it is. So there, now I can block that in. I've dried everything now, and I'm picking up that darker colour again, and I'm using my flathead brush, and I just want to gingerly, keeping the brush on its horizontal lay of the canvas, and I'm just kind of putting in, how's that looking? Yeah, that's looking all right. Just some wavy reflections, because this water here is really smooth. It's quite in from the ocean, from Fremantle coast. So on a morning time, let's say this is morning time, it's quite still and smooth. Now I've blow dried that. You know, I don't want it wet or anything, I want it nice and dry. Find your flavour blue. Now different times of the day, this house will be different shades of blue, so don't fret too much about will I get the right shade. I'm just got the Phthalo Blue. I'm mixing it with this soft flowing white. I want to get enough there. Now I'm just going to mix it to the value I want. I'll put a bit of titanium in there. Okay. Now the house is just the blue and with white trimming, white architraves, windowsills and door and whatnot. And I want to come, make sure I've got no paint on my hands. I want to come over this white, try not to leave an edge. Get that bit of a step down right there. Now we're just going to paint the whole darn thing blue, and then we'll paint the white doors and windows over this. Instead of trying to paint around them and getting brush strokes everywhere, this will be a lot easier process for a beginner to comprehend. I was just having a look at my flavour, and I've got to go darker with this blue because it's night time and it's clashing a bit too much with the sky. So I'm going to go for this colour down here. So instead of mixing that with some white, I'm just going to use it straight out of the tube on mine. So if you've done different values, stick to your values. Okay, this is not going to clash with my background, so I'll just get this edge in. Bear with me a minute. You can see why I put the white on there, because this blue would have looked very transparent. That's the colour I want. Now I'll get all this mapped in. Now I'll grab some of that lighter colour that I did mix up, and I'm just going to merge some of that into this blue. I didn't look at that tube. That was actually Phthalo Blue, and it was a bit of a transparent. So I'm going to just try and, yeah, that's what I want to do. Just get some lighter values shimmering across the boards here, just like so. Now this structure, like I said, it has a distinct flagpole above the door, so we'll put those things, and it does have a downpipe on this side, and I'm going to make sure I put that there. Okay, there is a dark shadow. I'm just grabbing some of that black on that flat brush. I've cleaned it, and I just want to put the whisper of a shadow under that eave, because that eave is protruding from the roof. It's an overhang eave. So I just want to get a little bit of black, and I'm just sort of kissing the white and coming down. This is just adding that depth to the structure. I've dried all this with a hairdryer. Now I just want to grab titanium white. The rest is just adding in the door frame and the window frames. So the door is going to be on the inside shadow there, inside there. And we want to come up, keep it in a straight line, just above the horizon line. Okay. That's pretty much where my door's going to be mapped in. How's that looking? Yep. And we want to get the windows. Now the windows they're in the middle of this area, and they're just a tidbit above. Get rid of that blob off the bottom of the brush. Above the height of the door. Okay. Just finishing off blocking in these white windows and the door. Now I want to do it so as it's not see-through. I want to get it reasonably solidly white, because we're just going to add some shadow to these, and that'll be it. And after I sign it, we'll cross over to Beverly Sowers of West Virginia in the USA. She'll be telling me when it's time to whack a frame on it. Alright, now we're just going to add some shadows to detail that. And while it's drying as well, we'll get there's a light up here, there's a bunker light, and there's a finial on here. That's those bit of turned pieces of wood on the gable there. And there's also we'll just make this the flagpole, bugger it. There's a flat plate against the wall. Okay, and the flagpole, we'll just get that coming right up the centre there. I should get that plate a bit more even on both sides. That'll do. And of course our little bunker light up here. Bunker light's just those waterproof outside lights that protrude, screw onto the wall. I'm grabbing some of this blue that I mixed up earlier on my flat brush. I just want to use this to detail and shadow the door and windows there. So the door has a good frame around it, so try and keep these nice and sharp and straight. Try not to get double lines. Just like that. How's that looking? Yes. And I'll grab the corner of the brush and just, I might grab a darker colour and put his handle in there. Get some kind of detail on there, just to put it in front of the gable. And some sort of screws in there. And then the same with the windows. The windows are pretty much the same type of frame on the side, but before I do that, I want to just glaze up the windows like that. So just to finish it off, I'm putting a little black beam underneath the door there for the shadow under, oh you dog, careful, for the shadow under the door, not the frame, just the door. And I want to put a hint of shadow under here as well on the windows. This is just detail. Okay, I've just put my downpipe that I wanted to put on there. It's just a little round one, but it's there. And I'll put an autograph on this and we'll see what Beverly Sowers is doing. Just remember, all my paintings are for sale. There's links in the description below. It'll take you to my albums that are available. And you can message me on Facebook regarding a purchase, all done through PayPal. All the links are there. Have a look. There's even a donate link if you want to support my content. Now we'll go over and see what the lovely, wonderful Beverly Sowers is up to.
Hi, Ann. This is Beverly Sowers from St. Albans, West Virginia in the USA. I'm coming to you from Jefferson National Forest in Virginia. I'm out here looking for some inspiration for some future paintings. Hey, Ann, it's time to whack a frame on it.
Okay, thank you for that, Beverly. That was Beverly Sowers from West Virginia in the United States. All right, we'll put a frame on this. We'll whack a frame on it. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that don't look too shabby, eh? We've got Perth Boathouse on the Swan River. Put a bit of a moonlit sky up there. Beautiful subject, an artistic subject. Give it a go and comment below and tell me what sort of fun you had doing this, and if you looked it up on the internet on Google Images and what you found. Use any layout for your reference photo. But that's my one for you beginners today. If you like what I'm doing, you tell your friends, but if you don't, you tell everybody, okay? All the best, goodbye, good luck, and good on ya.